everybody, it's Richard the Urban Warlock here. Now this video has an extreme trigger warning on, okay, because it is going to involve the death of my wife. Okay, so if you're friends or family with her, you already know this story, don't put yourself through it again. I suppose I've just done a video about kind of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Now myself, recently, I have stepped into my Empress. If we're talking tarot, I've stepped into my divine feminine energy, okay? And I just wanted to kind of explain that and also give people a little bit of a background, because I did do a video when I first kind of joined TikTok just to explain a little bit about what had happened and why I wasn't going to go down the kind of road of depression and stuff like that. It was quite a while ago. If you don't want to kind of trawl through them all, if you go to my my YouTube, the link's in the link tree, and I've put stuff in a playlist. I've put it in a playlist called Navigating Life, and they tend to be the videos where I'm talking a little bit more about my life experience, really. Now, I do have to stress that any of my videos, any of my lives, anytime you come for a reading with me, when I am talking about my life experience, it is my life experience. It is not embellished in any way, okay? I don't say these stories because I want people to feel sorry for me. I really don't, because you know, this might sound harsh, and if people put in comments like "I'm sorry for your loss" and stuff like that, that is perfectly fine. It's very kind of you. However, without sounding rude, if I don't know you, it's a little bit like water off duck's back. I don't. My brain, with being on the spectrum, doesn't really understand certain social norms, so a stranger saying "I'm sorry for your loss" on an emotional level, I'm afraid it means absolutely jack shit to me, and it's not me trying to be rude. It just doesn't do anything for me inside. Right, okay, so I'm not a psychopath, by the way. I do have emotions. Right, so yeah, so in my last video, when I was trying my best to explain what the divine masculine and feminine was, very briefly, wasn't the best video I've ever done, but there you go. I was saying that a lot of the time, to step into that energy, normally, not always, but normally, you have to go through some kind of trauma. Okay, and it's normally when you go through that trauma, rather than kind of going down nose diving into depression, drink, drugs, alcohol, and all that nasty crap, you something switches in you. Okay, and you go, right, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to go down that road. I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to make my life better and life better for the people around me that I kind of work with and stuff like that. So yeah, let's go. This is probably going to be a couple of parts, at least 2 parts, because it's a bit of a long story. So just to kind of backtrack slightly, so myself and Heather, we were together just under 6 years. Okay, now a couple of years in, we decided that we wanted to have children, and we were having trouble. So we went, it was back when we were in Nottingham, so we went for some fertility tests. Now, they refused us fertility treatment because Heather was overweight at the time. So that triggered her into going on a journey to lose the weight, which I'm very proud of her for. So she started that. Now, during lockdown 2020, unknown to ourselves, Heather actually got pregnant and she miscarried. We weren't even aware of what was going off really at the time. We didn't know she was pregnant. I do have to stress as well, she had polycystic ovaries syndrome, or PCOS. Okay. So it was already, you know, tough going anyway, and from what I understand, it kind of throws everything out in regard to your cycles and stuff. Because it was locked down, she had to go through some checks at the hospital, and I couldn't go in. I wasn't allowed in, so she had to do that all by herself, bless her. I should have said, actually, I should have mentioned, a lot of this is going to be redacted, because there are certain things at the moment that I can't talk about, either for kind of more like legal reasons or because of personal reasons. So just bear that in mind, that there is a lot more to this story than is coming out. Okay, so yeah, so sadly she had a miscarriage, and like I say, I couldn't be there with her. Anyway, it, you know, obviously that was quite traumatic. We worked through that the best we could, and then we carried on. We moved to Chesterfield, been here just over 2 years now, and we decided to start, Heather had lost the weight, so we decided to start the fertility process again. So during that time, as part of her kind of tests, if you want to call it that, they did an ultrasound on her womb and found a thickening of her womb lining. So it was suggested that she got further tests. Okay. In February of this year, 2023, she started to get quite bad abdominal pains. Okay. Now, Heather, much like myself, doesn't like or trust doctors. Okay. So she put off going. Because like me and like many out of you out there, you go to the GP and they fob you off. They do not give a shit. And it is even worse if you're a woman. Let's be clear about that. Okay. Eventually the pain got so bad, she went to the GP and they took some swabs and some urine tests and some blood tests. The following day, it was so bad that we had to take her into A&E. For more tests. Anyway, like I said, I'm going to have to kind of redact most of this. In and out of A&E over a couple of weeks. She had a, I can't think of the word now, to be honest. It's I'm not very good with medical terms, being slightly dyslexic and on the spectrum and stuff like that. But basically, it was like a biopsy of her womb lining. They also noticed some polyps. So they went down the route thinking that she had polyps, and that's what was causing the pain. So she was in and out of hospital again, admitted a number of times and stuff like that. Now, the test actually came back and confirmed she had endometrial cancer. Okay. Now, something to be aware of for all the women out there, okay, and this is really, really important, and please tell your family and your friends about this because it is not publicised whatsoever. I can't remember what it's called now. Smear test. The smear test does not pick up endometrial cancer. The smear test will only pick up vaginal cancer, I suppose you'd call it. So please tell everybody. And I would say if you start getting abdominal pain in that area, please push your doctors, please. Okay, because if they can catch it early enough and they pay attention to you, then there is there's a higher chance that something can be done. Anyway, so yes, she was diagnosed with cancer, endometrial cancer, stage 3 or grade 3. I can't remember which one it's called now because there's stages and then there's grades. So they did further tests, and that confirmed. Well, they did some scans that confirmed that it had spread all over her body, and she was confirmed as terminal. Now, I'm just wondering if to go through this now because I'm starting to get near 10 minutes. Now, just to kind of set the picture, so just before all this happened, 2023 was supposed to be our year. Heather had successfully completed her access to nursing and midwifery course and had been accepted onto the midwifery course at Sheffield Hallam. We were due to get married on the 21st of June this year, summer solstice. We got engaged on the winter solstice 2 years before. We got a honeymoon booked. My business was starting to go well. I was starting to get clients through the door. It was, I was feeling like not far off, working for myself at this point. And, we were hoping that, the fertility was going to go well as well. Obviously that completely smashed all those dreams, all those hopes, all those aspirations in one night. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to have to go to part 2.